Today we're going to look at the company Google and its earnings. So let's just go right in. And one of the things that I always say about Google is that it has a lot of potential in terms of the cloud space. I know Amazon and Microsoft are really doing very well, but I think Google has that lot of potential in that area. It can bring a lot of revenue and earnings growth through their cloud business. Google hasn't done as well as everybody thought, but I think there's a lot of potential in the next 5 to 10 years in the cloud business. Amazon and Microsoft are very mature businesses at this point on the cloud, especially Microsoft has grown its cloud business through its enterprise customers. I think Amazon is always going to be the top player in the cloud business. But I think there's a lot of innovation that still um, is still possible in the cloud business, and so they have everything to be successful in the next 5 to 10 years. So not just the growth that will come from their search business and the advertising business, but I think the cloud is a very big portion of their business in the will be um, big in the next 5 to 10 years. So let's just look at the numbers here. So Google has grown revenues about $147 billion. So what I want to look here is the return on invested capital. If you see return on invested capital, it's about 27%. What this tells us is that the management has been doing well with their invested capital. So the ROIC, or the return on invested capital, actually is the equity and the debt the company invests, and the return is the ROIC. So the ROIC number for Google is 27%. So 27% is like every dollar they have invested from equity and debt has returned them 27%. So I think this is a great business, especially knowing that the cloud is still um, a business that they have opportunity to increase their revenue and their earnings. If you look at the Piotrowski score, Google has a great balance sheet. It does not have much of debt. If you see the debt to, the long-term liability to free cash flow is only 1 time, which means in another year, if they pay off their debt through free cash flow, they're pretty much debt free, right? And the PE ratio is very reasonable at this point, although we say 20 or 22.5 is our average P ratio. It is high. So let's just take a look at their 3, 5, 10-year growth here. 10 years revenue has grown 560%, net income's 650%, and let's see the earnings surprise. And this is actually really great. Just in 2020, they were around $10.13 earnings, averaging somewhere around here. In the last 2 or 3 years, they were 12, 10, 12, 10 to $15. But they have upped the game, and in the last 2 years, they have really done very well. And I think the last quarter, which is January 2022, they earned about $30.69 per share. So I think this is a great business. I think there's a lot of potential for growth in the cloud space, and frankly, the cloud space is also growing in terms of technology innovation. And who is to say that Google will not be putting a lot of money in research, especially if they are in that business. They would like to make their workloads more and more efficient. So I think that drives innovation, that drives, you know, new products, and that is a driver for growth in technology space, right? That's what happens with semiconductor, because semiconductor industry is, even though it's cyclical, but the potential for growth and potential for technology innovation is very high. And I think the cloud space is very important in terms of innovation, because if you have to move all the workload into the cloud, it requires a lot of processing, requires a lot of innovation, so that there is potential saving in terms of electricity and power and all that. So I think there is a big growth potential for Google Cloud. I also like is the CEO Sundar Pichai, who has done phenomenal job in the last many years bringing this company to great success, increasing revenue, increasing earnings, and that is awesome for Google and awesome for the investors of Google. So thank you guys. Please support me by buying the subscription, monthly subscription at Patreon, and also please subscribe, like my channel, and let me know what you think.